Welcome to LSC. It's Sports Time. I'm your host, Bob Hintz. Today I have with me Tyrod Taylor, former Hampton High School quarterback, Virginia Tech quarterback, and now quarterback for the Ravens. Welcome.
Thank you.
You've had quite an historic career coming through the Hampton, but we're going to go back up because you started off playing football and basketball.
Yes.
That was your two main loves, but you started off playing football. What was the group you were playing with?
Hampton Tornadoes. We practiced at Lindsay, and we traveled over across Hampton Roads to play against different rec league teams.
All right, now you was telling me that a lot of those guys you played with ended up going to Bethel High School.
Yes.
Do you remember who some of those guys, because you got to play against them then?
Yes, Jeff Fulgham, Alfred Lane, Gerard Brown. That's just to name a few. It was a bunch of guys, though, but it was always fun to play against Bethel guys.
Now, but you also had some guys on your team that ended up going to Hampton with you?
Yes, I did. Can't really remember too many names off the back with a lot of those guys that I played with, especially at JV, carried over from Hampton Tornadoes.
Right. All right, now, your dad helped coach you in both football and basketball growing up? And,
yes.
Was he a pusher?
Yes, he was. My mom actually kept me out there on the football field my first year. My dad put me out there, and I didn't really have a feel for it. I wanted to play basketball. Football, I always was athletic. I think my first couple of days I was a lineman. I wore number 83, and I immediately got out of that number and switched to number 8. They tried me at quarterback, and I played quarterback for the rest of that season, and had a successful year. And I wanted to play the next year. My mom just kept telling me to go out there and keep playing, and you'll get the hang of it. And it was fun to go out there and compete with the guys. So,
right. All right, now, while you were competing, was football kind of took a backseat to basketball? Basketball was your first love, you think?
I think it was. It started off being that way. As when I got successful with football at an early age, I kind of just stuck with that. I was always able to play basketball. I was athletic. I played, and when we were at school, played against the guys that were so-called good at the time, and I had success with them. So. Basketball came easy to me, but football was something that I love, and I just stuck with it. Right.
Now, with the football and the basketball, there's a lot of carryover skills, but you evidently had great eye-hand coordination, because you got to have that with the basketball, more so than at football, I would think. But you did have a lot of carryover skills.
A lot of the lateral movement is the same. You have to be quick, and I was always a quick guy. I didn't really get fast until I got to high school, like 10th, 9th grade. But being quick was always something that I had in me, just in my genes, and it carried over from football to basketball. And I think I was successful at an early age because you don't see too many quick guys. You have your fast guys, but it's not too many quick guys at a young age.
And now playing quarterback, it's almost like you have an instinct. You can feel the guy coming at you. How do you explain that?
Just a God gift. Of course, you work on it with drills, but some of it is it's just a blessing. God gave me that gift, and I was able to go out there and take advantage of it. Like you said, sometimes you got to have the eyes in the back of your head. You have to be able to feel a guy. And just knowing where the pressure, as you get older and as you learn the game, you know where the blitz is coming from, and you can feel certain things before it even happens. So
it's almost like pressure coming in.
Exactly.
But now, when you first started playing, you went to Hampton, you played JVs. You was on JV basketball team and JV football team?
Yes, I played JV my 8th grade year of both sports. And basketball, we were pretty good. We had a good team. We didn't do as good as we would like to, but it was a fun season. Football, I think we won every game except 2. We lost to Kickingham in overtime, and I believe we lost to Heritage, which was the first game of the season, I think 7-6. But those were both learning experiences, and I was able to carry my talents over to varsity the next year.
Who was your coaches on the JV?
JV, we had Coach Raymond, and we had Coach Terry. In basketball, it was Coach Mark Godwin. He was a JV coach this year at Hampton.
Right. Now, then as a 9th grader, you just go right into starters. That's unusual.
It was
because you weren't that big a kid back then.
No, I wasn't. It was a freaky situation. The starter that they had there, a guy named Mike Roberts, a close friend of mine now. He broke his leg in the first scrimmage that we had against Huguenot, and Coach threw me into the fire. It was only me and him at quarterback at the time, and he threw me out there. We had a great receiver at the time, Todd Nolan, and we went out there and made some plays, and I was able to start the first 2 games, and then I don't know if you remember, I think it was Hurricane Isabel delayed the season for a week and a half that year. And Mike Roberts came back after we played it. So I played the first 2 games with Northview and Gloucester. We had to break. I played a little bit against Kickerton, and then Mike ended up playing for the rest of the season.
Right, but you got a lot of experience being thrown right into the fray.
Yes, and I remember being a JV coach. Coach Smith used to bring me up to some of the practices, especially during playoff time, and come out there and practice with him just so I can get a feel for the next year to see how it would be. But yes, it was definitely a learning experience. It was bigger guys. Game was a little faster. And it was fun to be out there to play against those older guys that you've seen while you were still in middle school. I'm practicing with those guys. So yes, it was fun.
So no, but in basketball, different. You ended up starting right away.
Yes, I think Coach Brown didn't want me to play. Well, didn't want me to be on the varsity football team and still play JV, so he brought me up. It's been a little awkward. So he brought me up, and I played well. We had a good team. A bunch of football guys played on that basketball team, and we were very athletic, I would say. And we went out there and made the best of what we could do.
Right. Now, as you plan these games, and then now you're coming in at quarterback, Roberts is leaving, but there were quarterbacks ahead of you, Ronald Curry, Marcus Hagan.
Yes.
Wow, what big shoes to fill.
Yes, 2 guys that I watched a lot in my time growing up. Very close friend with those guys now. And just to follow those footsteps was enough pressure. But I wanted to put pressure on myself because I just wanted to be the best person I could be, the best quarterback that I could be, and one of the best that come through Hampton High. And I just set goals for myself. We were able to win a championship, state championship my 11th grade year. Got close my 10th grade year, and I thought that may have been the best team that I had while I was there over my 4 years. But just to follow behind those guys and put some of the numbers up that I put up compared to those guys, one stat that did stick out to me is that I had 100 touchdowns over my time at Hampton High, and Ronald Curry had 100 touchdowns in one season. So that tells you what type of footsteps I had to follow.
When did you get the idea that I could be as good as these other guys? When did that really hit you?
Going out there and playing my 9th grade year, and actually winning some games. Not personally, but as a team, going out there and leading the team, being the quarterback of a team that had so much talent and bringing everybody together. And like I said, being a leader at a young age, I think that kind of sparked it.
All right, talk a little bit about Mike Smith. Great coach.
Great guy, great coach. Asks a lot out of his quarterbacks. He plays the quarterbacks at most of the time, quarterback and safety, whether you want to be a safety or not. I enjoy playing defense, but he just likes his key guy to be on the field at all times because that's the guy that he trusts. That's the guy that he puts his trust in, and he knows that the team respects that person. So,
but also as a quarterback, could you look at the other team when their quarterback's up there and maybe through your mind have an idea what they may try to do?
Yes, and being that a lot of the coaches say the same throughout the district over the years, Coach Smith has a good feel for each team that we play, so he has a good game plan, and he gives us good keys throughout the weekend, along with watching film. Didn't watch as much film as I do now back in high school, but I mean I did, and you can definitely pick up.
You thought that was a lot back then?
Yeah, I definitely thought there was a lot back then, but it's nothing compared to what we do now.
All right, now, and then you play basketball all 4 years through Hampton High School. Talk a little about Walter Brower. Here's a gentleman who's won just unbelievable 530-some games. It's just at the same school. I mean, a lot of people win a lot, but they've changed school, but he hasn't.
Yes, he has a great program, and he knows what to do with the guys that come there. He knows how to gel each player together, regardless of what type of talent he has on the team. For instance, the season that he had this year was a great season, and the way he pulled those guys together was phenomenal.
Oh, wasn't that something?
Yes, and he done a good job with our time being there. We wasn't fortunate enough to make it to Churchland, which was a big.
That was the regional, the big thing.
Yeah,
right?
We wasn't fortunate enough to make it there. We had good teams, and we played well throughout the district.
All right, talk a little bit about that 11th grade championship football season.
Man, that was a year to remember. Like I said, I believe personally that the best team that I was on was my 10th grade year, and just to come out there my junior year with the talent, we lost one game, I believe, that year to Phoebus. They called my punt return back. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the talent and just how we gelled together. Wasn't the most talented team, but the certain guys and key players stepped up to be leaders, and we put a team on our back and just willed our way to a championship. And we knew if we got to the championship game, we wasn't going to let ourselves down. We came too far, and it was kind of like a home game. We played it at Tyrod Stadium.
Right.
The team Stonebridge had to travel all the way down here, so it was just fun to be a part of that game and to go out there and win a championship for Coach Smith.
The experience had to be just unbelievable. When it was over, I mean, you're thinking, man, I got another year. I get to come back again.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I think that could have been a championship year for us, but it didn't go as like we planned. We ended up losing on a Hail Mary play the first round of the playoffs to Maury at Tyrod Stadium. We played the state championship the year before.
Talk a little bit about the carryover skills from football to basketball to football. Talk a little bit about those skills, because and we're going to talk about your camp later on, but you're going to be able to talk to these young kids about skills they learn in other sports.
Yes, especially me being a quarterback and a point guard on the basketball court. It's definitely a carryover from the quarterback position to the point guard, because you're the leader. You're basically the coach on the field or on the court. And as far as the skill set, I mean, the footwork, you always constantly work on your footwork. You want to be quick as possible. The hand-eye coordination is very big as a quarterback and as a point guard. So I think both of those skills carry over to allow you to be an elite player.
Right. And I want to ask you a question that we hadn't even talked about. The rivalry between Phoebus and Hampton. Yes. I mean, it had, in the beginning, it was nothing, and then it has grown. And when you were there,
yeah, I think when I was there was one of probably the biggest rivalry. I think it's not died down, but it's still big now. But over my 4 years, it got real big, and it was just fun to play in those games. I think even Nike, or not Nike, one of those websites came in and recorded it
Well, that's the rivalry thing. They come in and did a ball game.
Yeah, and that was just fun to be a part of. I mean, those games, easily, I believe it was one time, it was 12,000 people out there, people around, and they bring in extra bleachers, and it's just fun to be a part of those games, especially when you got to play those guys 2 times a year, because most of the time you play them in the season, then you have to play them again to make it to the state. So it's fun to be a part of those games.
Now we're going to talk a little bit about recruiting, because you didn't get 1 or 2 letters or 1 or 2 offers. 82 offers of scholarships.
Yeah, it kind of came real quick.
And it'd be overwhelming.
Yes, it was. Definitely a blessed opportunity to have those coaches, or that many coaches, see talent in me. And over 80 offers, and out of all those offers, only 2 teams offered me to play one position other than quarterback. And that's, I think, like I said, that's just a blessing. I thank Coach Smith, I thank my dad, I thank my mom, I thank everyone that supports me for that. And it could just allowed me to continue to work. Most of my offers came after my sophomore year. Like I said, we had a receiver in Todd Nolan, a great receiver. A lot of people know about him from around here. And he actually committed to Virginia Tech. And like I said, it just was a blessing to have those offers come so early. I was excited to get the acknowledgement, but I also wanted to see what it's like to play at a college level. I ended up going down to Virginia Tech. And
what sold you on the Tech?
One of the first teams that came in and offered me. Like I said, he was showing interest in Todd Nolan, and like I said, it was just excited to see those coaches come and grab me out of class and tell me that they were interested in me. I took plenty of visits there, and I had fun on my visits, and just thought I'd be a great fit for Virginia Tech.
How do you keep from not getting a big head? I mean, because it's hard, because all of a sudden everybody wants a piece of you. You know, I want you in my school. Everybody wants you.
Yes, my
mom. How do you keep yourself level?
My mom talked to me every day about that.
There you go.
Yeah, just staying humble. Don't take the credit for it. Just knowing that God is putting you in a situation to bless somebody or be a blessing for somebody, and just to work hard every day. I think some people get big-headed and stop working hard, and then that's the truth will tell eventually if you stop working. But I kept working, and look where it's got me now. And I'm still working. So.
Well, you know, and I want to thank your mama. She came up to me in the store and introduced, I didn't know her, she introduced me and said how much she appreciated us televising the games and everything. And I just thought, what an elegant lady.
Yes.
You know, just to pick me out. You know, who am I? Just a guy just happens to be lucky enough to get to see you guys play. 757. This area just produces so many athletes that are good athletes, and I mean not only go on to the pro college, but end up going, a lot of them going to pro. What is it about this area?
They really say it's in the water, for real. That's what they say. I'm not sure. I believe it's so much competition down here. It's a lot of high schools between the Tyrod area to across the water. There's so many schools, and it's a lot of competition between AAU, and guys send each other track meets, football teams traveling, and it's
gotta be coaches too.
Different camps, coaches moving around to different schools, coaches staying in schools, bringing players over. It's so much competition, and I think it brings the best out of us. And when people from down here go to other places, they're very competitive. I can say just about every player that I know that came from around here that went on to a school was successful.
Right. Talk a little bit about at Tech. You went up at Tech and really thought first year you're going to be redshirted.
Yes.
And again, it's almost like when you were a freshman and Roberts broke his leg.
Yeah,
all of a sudden you say, okay, you're not going to redshirt, you're going to play.
Yep, I was redshirted the first game at East Carolina, and I talked to the coaches the night before the LSU game, which was our second game, and they told me to be ready just in case. I didn't know what that meant going into the game. I mean,
right.
I prepared the whole week as if I was going to play just like I do any week.
Right.
But I got my number called in the second quarter, and red shirt was off, and I never looked behind. Similar situation the following year. We're going into the season. Me and Sean Glennon battled it out, and I asked the coaches if they didn't want to pick a true starter, and I would redshirt. And they still wanted to do the two quarterback thing, and I kind of chose the redshirt because I wanted the extra year.
Right.
Sean would be leaving that year, and I would be able to start 3 more years. And I got redshirted for the first game again against East Carolina. So I didn't play East Carolina until my junior year, and they took it off second game against Ferrum. And like I said, I never looked back again that year. We won the ACT championship, went on to play in the Orange Bowl against Cincinnati, and I started for the next 2 years.
Well, and let's talk a little bit about going to bowl games. You went to 4 bowl games.
Yes.
You're there, and 3 of them were BCS bowl games,
Yes.
which is, that's the elite of the elite.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like for the bowl games and your preparation? Different than regular season, I would imagine.
Yes, it was, and it's more time off. Most of those games you get a month, a little over a month to prepare. So the coaches do a good job of scheduling time for practices, being able to go home and be with your family for a while too. But like you said, it's definitely different. There's more preparation, more film time to watch on a team that you may never seen the whole year play. So
Right.
it's definitely turned it up a notch. You have to keep everybody focused. So some guys, because you're there during the winter break for the most part. So some
Right,
guys
yeah.
miss home. You may have a freshman or something that's playing that's ready to go home. But you just have to keep everybody focused. And I think that's where the leadership comes in and listening to the older guys.
Talk about some of the coaches there. Who was the one that worked with you the most?
Coach O'Kane, Coach Kavanaugh. I want to thank Coach Kavanaugh and Coach Newsom for getting me there. Those were my
Right.
recruiting coordinators. But Coach O'Kane worked with me a lot, and Coach Steinspring, and I talked to those guys. I was actually up there 2 weeks ago, and I visited those guys. We still talk about football, and just still constantly teaching me, and I'm still listening and just taking as much information because they've coached a lot of people over the past years, and a lot of people in the NFL.
Talk a little bit about Coach Beamer. Is he as focused and as excited about the game as, say,
Yes.
Mike Smith and the other coaches?
Yes,
that
he
you had?
is. Yes, he is. He's very focused, and he's big on character. I think he's told me a lot as far as character, doing the right thing, just being the right person. It's a quote he says, we all make decisions, but at the end of the day, decisions make us, and that's just something that he lives by, and he wants the right people in his program. He believes if he can get the right people, then they can go far and win over a consistent time, which they've done. I think he's the only coach over the past 9 years or so to win 10 or more games.
Right.
So
Yeah,
he's
the only one.
Yes, he's definitely consistent, and he has a good program, and he knows what he's doing with those guys.
Right. Talk a little bit about getting drafted by the Baltimore Ravens. What a experience that had to be.
Yes, the whole process is fun. It's only one. You only get that once, and I was fortunate enough to get drafted in the 6th round. Just watching the draft, I mean, you have your different feelings about it. I mean, I watched guys that I thought that were better than me go ahead of me, but I mean, it's God put you in certain places for a reason, and I'm blessed to be in the opportunities that I'm at now. I'm in the Baltimore, and I'm very fortunate and I'm thankful that they drafted me. And I'm looking forward to continue to play with those guys. And I love the coaches there, I love the players. And like I said, I think I'm in a great situation.
Ray Lewis, what kind of, I mean, here's a guy that you talk about intense.
Yeah, very intense. And just his speeches, he has so much passion for the game. Definitely knows a lot. He's been in the league a long time, of course, but he's willing to teach every person that's willing to listen, and I like that. I like that about him. He's not stingy about his knowledge, and he's willing to give it out.
Good. Let's talk about your camp. You're going to have a camp April 14th,
Yes.
2012 at Darling Stadium from 9 to 2.
Yes.
And this is one of your ways of giving back to the community, but this isn't going to be the only camp. You're going to have some other camps later on.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about this camp.
Yes, it's my first camp. I'm looking forward to it. Me and my dad has an organization called Training Ground where we're going to be training kids and eventually putting the spring football together. And we just want to get as many kids as we can. I think we filled up to about 350 kids this year, and that's
wow.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to working with those guys and just teaching them different skills, the importance of education as well. So I mean, I'm just looking forward to it. Like I said, it's my first camp, and I'm very excited, and I'm glad that we filled the camp up so quick.
Wow. And you're going to have other people there, and we're not sure who's going to be there yet. It's still kind of early, but
yes.
This sounds like a great thing. I want to kind of wrap this up, but before I do want to mention that Wube Gabray and Krista Campbell, both from the Maryland area, so they're definitely a Raven fan. So you got a lot of support down here.
Yeah, thank you. And as I come home, I do find a lot of Ravens fans. A lot of people that follow me at Tech, and a lot of people that follow Tech.
Right.
And like you said, it's a lot of Ravens fans. There's a lot of Steelers fans down here too, which I don't look at them. I don't look at them. But that's another thing.
All right. Well, let's just kind of wrap this thing up and talk about the importance of getting a good education. Because these are young kids, you're going to touch their lives.
Yes, education is very important. And my mom stayed on me at a young age. So it started out at elementary school, just expressing and staying on me how important education was. Injury can happen any day. And I mean, you don't want to use education the wrong way. People try to go through school and not take it important and just try to be good on the football field or the basketball court and think that's going to take them there. I mean, like I said, injury can happen at any point of your career, and you want to be a strong student. That way that you can still meet your goals, whether it's financially or whatever you have in life that you're trying to reach. Education can get you there. Sports is just a faster way. But, I mean, you still have to have the knowledge and the background as far as education goes.
Appreciate you coming in.
No problem. Thank you.
I want to thank you for tuning in to LSC and Sports Time. I want to thank my special guest, Tyrod Taylor. I'm your host, Bob Hintz. Till next time.